to our beloved material and also my fellow friends. My name is Nur Afika binti Zulkifli, and I will present to you about the Sri Surya Hotel background. Surya Maju Resources established their business in 1970. We introduced their product, which is snack product. Years by years, they started to diversify their products into consumer goods and also health products. In 2008, they opened a hotel named Sri Surya Hotel. In 2012, the hotel introduced on-site event management services, and it is one of the main resources for the hotel's revenue. So let us take a look a little bit more closer to Sri Surya Hotel. Sri Surya Hotel is located in Ipoh, Perak, which is a transit hub for a local and international tourists or travelers may stop by. It is also situated at a strategic location where it has a well-connected transportation such as north-south highways and railways. Sri Surya also offers to the customer first hotel accommodation, which provide more than 300 units of room with various capacity. Sri Surya Hotel also offers on-site event management services. So there are 4 facilities that are offered by the hotel. The first one is meeting room. The second one is conference center, which has a wide and flexible space for the customer use. And the third one is private room, which is equipped with the latest audio visual, and the fourth is the ballroom, which is very pretty and luxurious. And lastly, Sri Surya Hotel offers dining outlet. Next, we look at the SWOT analysis. So for strength, the hotel is located at the Ipoh, Perak. So it is a center where tourists or travelers tend to pay a visit for their holiday or other purpose. It also had a well-connected transportation network, which makes people easy to travel from their place to Perak. So they might choose Sri Surya Hotel as their destination or to sleep for a night. The second strength is it is a well-established hotel since it had operated for a long period. So Sri Surya Hotel had operated for 10 years, which means that most of the people have been recognized its brand. Mostly people are attracted with the facilities that offered by the hotel itself. For example, its spa, its gymnasium, and also its pool. For weaknesses, the management hotel get minimal profit from the event management services. As we know, the event management services is actually one of the main source for the hotel's revenue. However, the profit seems to be small to be in line on the business. So the hotel management might have some difficulties in rolling their money for their future planning or future events. For opportunity, the Sri Surya Hotel can use internet to reach a wider target customer. So Sri Surya Hotel can utilize social media and internet marketing to reach more potential guests. The management of the hotel also state that they wanted to use this kind of strategy, and also they can utilize the social media such as Instagram or Facebook or hotel booking websites such as Trivago and Agoda. So they can also make promotion with using this as their platform, so more people will know their existence and also their promotion that can attract them to be Sri Hotel customers. And the last item for SWOT analysis is threat. So the threat is the increment of competition in hotel industry. So we can see that there are a lot of competition among the hotels and they compete each other to gain market share. People also can compare the prices of several alternatives with only a little effort. So this means that Sri Surya Hotel also need to compete with the others using the appropriate price despite of only focus on upgrading their facility.
Now I will present the first issue of the price is right. The first issue is the minimum profit due to the ineffective methods of cost. According to the case, the cost controller of Sri Surya Hotel determine the cost price of each item by setting the percentage either by based on the item price or total event revenue, which is subjective and may cause inaccurate cost. Sri Surya Hotel is currently using the traditional way to conduct the costing. Traditional costing assigns cost to product based on the average overhead rate. This method pulls all the indirect costs in production and applies those costs equally across the board using one appropriate cost driver such as machine hours. In this case, the company computes the total event cost by multiply the cost per unit with the amount of person. It is good to use the traditional way, but it may lead to the extensive use of arbitrary cost allocation, which may cause low level of accuracy. For example, the cost controller simply estimate the salary range for Manjong Community Anniversary Dinner at 25% and Ruby Care Sendirian Berhad at 20% from the total revenue did not reflect the cost correctly. Instead, the salary should be allocated based on the time spent on the event. There are three costing methods that can be used by Sri Surya Hotel to determine the cost of its event management activities. The first one is activity-based costing, second one is job costing, and then lastly, target costing.
So my name is Nohamira binti Hame and I will proceed with the recommendations for each one. So as we know, there are various of costing method that we can choose in the business, such as activity-based costing, job costing, and target costing. So for this case of Sri Surya Hotel, we decide to choose activity-based costing as their costing method. Okay, what is the meanings of the activity-based costing? ABC is a costing method that assigns overhead and indirect costs to a related product and services. ABC recognizes the relationship between cost, overhead activities, and manufacturer product. ABC assigns indirect costs to product less arbitrarily than the traditional method. So the formula of the ABC is basically to find the cost driver rate, which we can find it by using the total cost pool divided by the cost driver. So what is the cost driver rate? Cost driver rate is used to calculate the amounts of overhead and indirect costs related to a product or services. Okay, so the step of the activity-based costing is first, identify the major activities that take place in the organization. Second, identify the cost driver associated with each activity. Third, compute a cost rate per cost driver unit, and the fourth is assign cost to product by multiplying the cost driver rate times the value of cost driver unit consumed by the product. So the applications of the activity-based costing in the Sri Surya Hotel cases is the cost controller needs to follow the step. So the first step is to identify the major activities that take place in the organization. So based in this case, the recent event management services that we can find is the Mahjong Community Anniversary Dinner and Ruby K. Sundar Berhad for the seminar. So for this both event, we can identify that there are salary expenses incurred for the both event to be successfully executed. So the second step is the cost controller need to identify the cost driver associated with each activity. So the cost driver of salary expenses is a number of labor hours spent on the preparations of an event by the hotel staff. Okay, so the third step is to compute a cost rate per cost driver unit. So the cost driver rate will be the cost per labor hour. So the fourth step is the assign cost to product by multiplying the cost driver rates times the volume of cost driver unit consumed by the product. So cost per labor hour times the number of labor hours spent in assisting the events. So basically, in conclusions, instead of the cost controller simply estimate the salary range for both event at 25% and 20% from the total revenue, they can use this activity-based costing to calculate the accurate cost for salary expenses. Okay, so the advantage of activity-based costing is first, expands the number of cost pool that can be used to assemble overhead costs. So instead of accumulating all costs in the company-wide pool, it pool costs by activities. So the second advantage is it create new base for assigning overhead costs to item. Costs are allocated based on the activities that generate costs instead of volume measure such as machine hour or direct labor costs. The third advantage is alters the nature of several indirect costs. So example of indirect costs is depreciation, salary and utility. So alternatively, ABC transfer overhead costs from high volume to low volume product, raising the unit cost of low volume product.
The comparison between the traditional costing and activity-based costing can be seen through their cost pool. Traditional costing accumulates costs into facility-wide or departmental cost pool. The costs in each cost pool are heterogeneous, not caused by a single factor, while for activity-based costing, cost pool accumulate costs into activity cost pool, designed to correspond to the major activities or business processes. Cost pool are caused by a single factor, the cost driver. As for allocation basis, traditional costing allocates cost to product using volume-based allocation basis, unit, direct labors input, machine hours, and revenue dollar. While for activity-based costing, allocate cost to product, service and other cost object from the activity cost pool using allocation basis corresponding to cost driver of activity costs.
Hello and Assalamualaikum. I'm Nashaglani binti Maisa and I will proceed with the second issue for the case the price is right. For the second issue is the minimal profit margin through the cost management activities due to the weak pricing strategy. So from this case, we can see that Sri Surya Hotel had organized annual dinner for the Manjung community and one-day seminar for the Ruby K. Sundar Berhad. The price for the Manjung community is calculated based on the customized package, which depending on the client or the customer needs. While for the Ruby Care, the price is based on the hotel standard package, which include all the charges or also the expenses incurred on the seminar event. Although Sri Surya Hotel used customized package and the hotel standard package for the event, we can see that they only focus on how to calculate the cost and the price of the event. And with it, we can see that there is no specific pricing strategy that Sri Surya Hotel implement in order for them to increase the profit margin. Therefore, the cost controller of the Sri Surya Hotel should implement the right pricing strategy because it is one of the most important decisions of the management that will affect the profitability of the Sri Surya Hotel. The price method that Sri Surya Hotel can implement in order for them to increase the profit margin and meet the average profit margin by 30% is by 3D strategy, which first is the markup pricing, second cost plus pricing, and the third one is the tiered pricing. Okay, for the markup pricing is the pricing strategy that the fixed amount or percentage of the cost of the product is added to the product price to get the product selling price. For the second strategy is the cost plus pricing, is a strategy of the setting price in which the seller total all the costs for the product and then adds the desired profit per units. And the third one is the tiered pricing, is the strategy employed to define a price per unit within a range. This is used by the company to provide their product or service at a different price point by limiting or expanding the feature or functionalities corresponding to each tiered price. So, according to the article that I found, which pricing strategy and levels and their impact on the corporate profitability, said that the pricing strategy is one of the most important decisions in management as it will affect the corporate profitability and also the market competitiveness. So from this article state that price is one of the most flexible element on the market mix which interfere directly in a short term over the profitability and the cost effectiveness of the company. Second, this article also state that the price decision are one of the most important decisions of the management because it will affect profitability and the company's returns along with their market competitiveness. Besides that, a price also have a high impact on the company's profitabilities and the pricing strategy vary considerably between the sector and the market situation. And last one, this article also states that the profitability and the cost effectiveness of the company are highly attached to a pricing strategy that will visualize their internal capabilities, skills, and the corporate advantages against their competitors, while also considering their customers' needs or how much they are willing to pay. So, from this article, we can see that the pricing strategy is really important and Sri Surya Hotel should implement the right and appropriate pricing strategy in order for them to gain more profit margin and meet the 30% of the average profit margin that they set.
Hello, my name is Nosha Filza binti Saburhan. I will proceed the presentation on the recommendation for issue number 2. Okay, as we all know, there are many pricing strategies that can be applied by Sri Surya Hotel in determining the right price for their services. Okay, in this presentation, I will explain more on the recommended strategy that we would like to suggest for Sri Surya Hotel. In the case of Sri Surya Hotel that would like to improve their profits and also achieve the targeted average profit margin of 30% in event management business, we are highly recommended for the company to use the cost plus pricing strategies. It is a method in which the seller total up all the costs involved in providing their services or their products and then add up their desired profits to arrive at a selling price. It's just a simple cost-based pricing in set up a price. There are many advantages in applying this pricing strategy. First of all, it takes few resources and simple to use as this strategy doesn't require a company a lot of additional market research. Second, it provides a full coverage of costs and also ensure a consistent rate of return. Of course, as long as the company calculated correctly and total up all the costs involved in providing their services or products, before determining the price itself, the cost will be covered totally. And then, for the markup itself, it will ensure the company to have a positive rate of return. The price can also be justified is also one of their advantages for the company in applying this pricing strategy, as they can justify to their customers the reason why the price increase or change is because of the cost itself. To apply this cost plus pricing strategy, there are a few steps that can be applied by the company. Firstly, they should determine the total cost of a unique product or services they have provided, and then they should identify on the profit margin they would like to achieve, or they believe that the company can achieve on the profit margin as per required, as per targeted. Okay, and then we calculate the markup in which what is the desired profit by a company. So we total up with the cost of we calculate before, and then we multiply this cost with the markup percentage. Okay, now let's see how Sri Surya Hotel can implement the cost plus pricing. Okay, first, determine the total cost of a unique product. Okay, in this step, Sri Surya Hotel should identify and conclude all the costs involved in providing their services, as well as the direct labor, direct materials, and also the direct overhead. Okay, next, identify the targeted profit margin. So in the case of Sri Surya Hotel, we can see how they want to achieve the targeted average profit margin of 30%. Okay, and the third one is calculate the markup, which is the gross margin of Sri Surya Hotel to cover their overhead and also the profit they desire. And lastly, for the final step, as we can see in the slide, the formula in calculating the selling price using the cost plus pricing strategies is break-even price, which is the cost unit of product or services, multiplied by the profit margin. Okay, in the case of Sri Surya Hotel, we can take the example from Manjung and Ruby Care Senior Berhad services provided to them. Okay, so we have know how much the cost involved in providing the services, and also the targeted average profit margin of the company Sri Surya Hotel. Okay, so the calculated selling price should be the minimum price placed by the Sri Surya Hotel to their consumers. In conclusion, Sri Surya Hotel can improve their profit and also earn their desired targeted profit margin of 30% by applying the activity-based costing together with the cost plus pricing strategies in determining the right price for their productions. That's all from us. Thank you.